अब इसमें आ गया रिकॉर्डिंग इन प्रोग्रेस।
हाँ, तो अभी आप उसको जो है ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड रख लो, वो जब मीटिंग स्टार्ट होगा तब रिकॉर्डिंग पे डाल देना।
नहीं नहीं, इसमें ये ऑटो रिकॉर्ड हो गया भाई, आई डिड नॉट डू एनीथिंग, इट स्टार्टेड ऑन इट्स ओन।
ओके,
हैव यू जॉइंड?
होल्ड ऑन।
या आई कैन सी यू नाउ।
ओके,
ठीक है, गौतम मेहरा भी आ गया, मैं उसको भी ऐड कर लेता हूँ। चलो मैं अभी व्हाट्सएप डिस्कशन कर रहा हूँ, व्हाट्सएप
हाँ उसको रेस करना, ठीक है बाय। Yeah, Ms. Mehra, just I saw you. ठीक है, so the closing would be done by Mr. Arora, am I correct? Okay. Now one more thing I want to know that did you circulate the open ID to all the members? Okay, fine. So okay, fine. So we'll wait for another 10 minutes before starting it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Arvind, can you see my screen? Arvind? Arvind, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Mehra, you're there?
No, yes, kept him on mute. Hold on.
Achha, he's on mute.
Okay.
Achha, Arvind, what I would suggest is in your display there is a number. Okay, just rename that and put your name.
Okay, fine. Hold on, I'll just log in again.
Now you can just change from the 3 dots. Just click on the 3 dots and just click rename and change it. Yeah, hi, Mr. Diwan.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So you can hear and see us clearly?
Yes, yes.
You can see my PPT?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great, great.
Where were you saying I can't see that dot for changing?
Yeah, Arvind.
स्क्रीन पे उन्होंने स्क्रीन शेयर की हुई है।
वॉल्यूम तो ऑन है।
अभी बोलेगा।
Mr. Diwan, it's 3:32. Shall we wait for a few more minutes?
Yeah, let's wait for a few more minutes.
Yeah, sure, sure.
ਉਹ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਿਆ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਹੋਰ ਸ਼ਰਮਾ ਜੀ ਠੀਕ ਹੋ ਚਲੋ ਇੱਕ ਅੱਧਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਜਾਓ
अब ये आइटम मालूम है मैं किधर से निकाला ये आइटम पीछे
Yeah, Mr. Ritesh, shall we start? It's 3:35 now.
Yeah, I think we can start, sir. We can
Yeah,
start,
okay.
and by the time you give the address, we can let other people join
Yes.
in. Yeah.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Let me welcome all the members who have joined us today on the webinar on evolving trends in foreign exchange risk management. Now, this webinar is being organized by SGEPC in collaboration with Myforexeye Fintech Private Limited. See, in the export business, the managing foreign exchange is a very important tool, which is known to everyone. And with the ever-changing technology, the new trends are also evolving every day. So it is always good to keep abreast with the latest technology and also the evolving trends. So that is the reason we have now collaborated with Myforexeye Fintech Private Limited to introduce you and also share with you the new options and the technology that is available to manage your foreign exchange. So today with us, we have Mr. Ritesh Victor, founder of Myforexeye Fintech, and also Mr. Arvind Rajamani from Myforexeye, who will be taking us through the presentation. And Mr. Ritesh will start with the presentation, which will be into small parts, giving you an opportunity to ask any questions in between, and also at the end of the presentation. So without taking any much time, I'll invite Mr. Ritesh Victor to start with his presentation and the introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Diwan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a privilege and an honor to be here, presenting some ideas and insights about forex management. And you being exporters, importers, I'm sure I'll be able to instigate some insight and some wisdom into you, and some degree of awareness as to how to manage your forex risk better. So, as Mr. Diwan rightly said, this presentation is divided into about 4-5 parts. There are 4-5 major aspects that are there in this presentation. So, each aspect I'll cover one by one, and I will give you a few minutes of time or a break in between these aspects. Anyway, it's not a very long session. It's just about an hour or so. But every 5, 8, 10 minutes after that concept is over, I would give you the chance to speak. So anyone has any queries about that particular aspect, you can, speak out, raise your question, and we'll try and address that question. Okay. So again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and a privilege. So what we are trying to do, or what we'll try and invest in the next 1.5 hours, is to get an insight into a forex management. For every exporter and importer, forex management is very critical because it has a direct impact on your top line as well as on your bottom line. And in addition to that, there are various facilities that are available in the market. So how do I optimize the facilities? What has been the challenges of exporters and importers in India? So we are going to address all of that. And obviously, I'll try and say something about the market view, which everyone asks me. So let's get going. So we are wanting to invest time and understand that what are the trends evolving in foreign exchange markets in India. So this is the broad agenda that I have for today afternoon. There are, as you see, there are 5 aspects, and then obviously we will have question answer sessions separately. But after each aspect, as I said, you always get a chance to speak out and put forward questions. What I would request all participants is put yourself on mute. Yeah. Sorry, someone was saying something. Okay, so what I was telling all participants is put yourself on mute now, and when I open the forum for you to ask the questions, then probably you can unmute and ask your question. Okay. Arvind, am I audible loud and clear?
Yeah, you're very much audible, loud and clear.
Okay, great.
I think
great.
everybody's on mute.
Yes, great. So, okay, so these are the 5 things that we want to discuss today. One is the biggest challenge that we have seen for exporters in India, exporters and importers in India, is about managing the forex rates. Okay, how do I manage the rate? There is a lot of non-transparency. Conversion, either receivable or payable. I just get one rate from the bank. So is the rate
Ritesh, can I just stop you? I think there are 2 people who are on unmute. I think like you have to ask them to mute themselves.
Okay.
Mr. Anwar Saifi and Mr. Rajesh Arora, sir, may I request you to please put yourself on mute?
I was on mute. I just opened because
sorry.
I really requesting you that you have the control. You have all the control. So can you put
Okay, fine,
mute
sir. We'll do
everyone?
it from our end. Okay, fine.
Yes.
No problem.
Thank
no
you.
Problem. Ritesh, can you mute everyone except yourself?
Okay, right. So I will mute all except one. Okay. Okay. Now it is all are muted and only I am speaking now. Okay. Great. So about rates, and then there is always point number 2 is about the conclusion that exporters have in India, that dollar is always on an uptrend. So why should I do a hedge for my dollar receivable? Because I know that in the future the dollar will be higher, so I will get a higher conversion price. So what is the use of doing a forward? So I will guide you on that as well. Facts and figures. What is the reality, truth about dollar INR long-term history? We'll also look at how to optimize interest on interest cost on export. Something very interesting. Government has given certain facilities. Are we optimizing those facilities and using for the best of our interest? Is what is on point number 3, optimizing interest cost on exports. Then obviously point number 4 is something which everyone asks me. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this for a very long time, 21, 22 years. All my hair is already white because of Forex in India. And wherever I go, all the forums, everyone asks me, Mr. Victor, where do you feel the dollar INR is going? Obviously, it is a forecast. I don't know. I'm just a mere normal human. I'm not God. God knows what the future is. But we'll try and make an estimate. We'll try and make an intelligent or a wise estimate as to where the currency is headed. Where is it headed towards 72? It is around 75 now. All of you know, 74, 70, 80, 90, those levels. So in the future, in 2022, where are you looking at to go? Are you looking at to go to 72? Rupee appreciation, or are we looking at rupee weakening and it going towards 78? So what is the broad direction of the currency? This is a question that everyone asks. So I will cover that part as well. Okay. And towards the end, we will also look at how a lot of the Forex challenges in India, we are trying to overcome using our mobile application. We have developed a mobile application called Myforexeye. It is there on Android and iOS both. So you can download it from the Play Store and from the App Store. And we have invested a lot of time and effort, intelligence, wisdom in addressing the problems that we have seen exporters, importers face in India. And we have used the application to solve that problem. So it's a very handy tool for all exporters and importers. And I would very strongly recommend all of you to download this application. It is a free application and it gives you a lot of data. It gives you real-time prices. So we'll invest some amount of time on that as well. Okay, so now at first, let us try and understand about managing of Forex rates. See, in India or in dollar INR, whenever I do a conversion, I just get one rate from the bank. Okay, from my counterparty, I just get one rate, and that is the exchange rate. Let's take I have a $5 lakh or a 1 million euro conversion, and I need to convert today, and I need to get the credit today. I just get one rate. Okay, I don't know what the spot is, what the cash spot is. So there's a whole lot of lack of transparency in India. So how do I eliminate that transparency? To eliminate that, opacity or lack of transparency, first I need to understand what are the rates, what are the Forex rates, which is the standard quoted in the market, and what is the rate or what is the transaction that I'm trying to do. Okay, so all of you, whenever you do your conversion, understand what we call as what is your transaction type, what is your transaction. Okay, let's take I have a receivable today. I have a $350,000 receivable today, and I want to convert and get the credit today itself. So will I get the spot rate? No, you will not get the spot rate. The spot rate, what is quoted in the market and what is traded in the market, the spot rate is for a settlement for 2 working days after today. So it is a T+2 concept of spot rate. Okay, so what I see on the screen or see on the terminal or see on public platforms, that is not the rate you will get for conversion today. Okay, so that you will get if you want to do a conversion and get a credit 2 working days later. Okay, now the question is, if spot is for 2 working days later, then what is the conversion that I need to get if I want to do the conversion for today's credit? The credit in the bank account is for today. Okay, so what you get is something called a cash rate. And how do I get a cash rate? Cash rate is simple spot rate minus a component called cash spot. Okay, spot rate minus a component called cash spot. So spot is what is quoted, but I need cash because I need conversion today. So spot minus cash spot is for the credit today. Similarly, if I need to convert today and get a credit tomorrow, then it is called a TOM transaction. Or else, if I want to do a forward transaction, in the sense that I am expecting $1 million to come after 3 months, and I want to forward hedge that risk today. The dollar is 75, it might go to 71, 72. So I want to hedge that risk. So if you take a forward, you get a settlement which is beyond T+2. That's 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. So the rate is spot plus the forward premium for that date. Okay, so I will explain. This is very nicely given in this table. Very nicely given in this table. If you see, spot rate is the universal rate. Okay, it is quoted everywhere. That is the standard benchmark. Everything starts from spot rate. Okay, if you want to do a cash rate, cash transaction means I got the receivable or I have the payable, and that conversion has to happen and get credited or debited in my account today itself. Okay, but spot is T+2. So I do an adjustment of spot. I do spot minus cash spot, and obviously if you are an exporter, minus the bank margin. If you are an importer, then the bank margin will be added. Okay, now very critically, all of you need to understand what is bank margin. Bank margin is the compensation that you pay to the bank for all the conversions. Okay, I'll just explain. Okay, let me just get back. Yeah, bank margin. So every time you do a conversion, you pay some service fee to the bank, some cost that you incur and you pay to the bank. That is called bank margin. And since bank is doing a conversion every time, you pay bank margin on every transaction. So spot and bank margin is universal, 2 components, and additional components come when you know what kind of transaction you are doing. Whether doing a cash transaction or whether you're doing a TOM transaction or whether you're doing a forward transaction. Accordingly, the computation methodology will change. So very important, understand your transaction type, understand spot, understand cash spot, or the forward premium, or the term spot, depending on the transaction that you are trying to do. Okay. Now, what are we talking about what is the problem? A lot of people ask me, Mr. Victor, what is the problem? You are trying to identify and highlight a problem. So what is this problem? The problem is the first line. Okay. I always feel bank overcharge while converting foreign exchange. Okay. This is a problem statement that I have heard from almost 90-95% of the companies that I have interacted in the last 22 years in the currency market in India. Okay. They always feel that they did not get the right price. Now we are trying to solve that problem. Okay. But let's first understand how genuine or how deep is the problem. The worry is the real-time prices are not available. Okay. There is a huge lack of transparency and limited availability of live spot rates and live forward premiums. These live spot rates and forward premiums comes in terminals. They don't come on Google. You don't get on public platforms. Okay, because these are expensive data. Real-time data is expensive. Delayed data is free. Okay, real-time data is expensive. We have tried to solve that problem using our mobile application. We will explain that later during the day today, during the presentation today. But the basic challenge with Indian market is that there is a huge lack of transparency, limited availability of live rates. Okay. The bank margin, as I said in the previous slide, the bank margin, which is a cost to you. Okay, it is a cost to you. You are paying a service fee to the bank. Okay, and in majority of the cases, this bank margin is kept variable and unclear. So to get transparency, the first thing that you need to do is to ensure that this margin is fixed. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, it is a cost. So if it is a cost, the cost has to be fixed. The cost cannot be variable. If it is a cost, the cost has to be clear. It cannot be a opaque or a hazy or an unclear cost. It has to be fixed. It has to be clear. Okay. In most of the cases, what happens is banks just quotes a net rate to you. आपका $3.5 लाख आया है या $5 लाख गया है. Whatever is a forex conversion, whether it is a receivable or it is a payable, you get a net rate. Okay. But actually the rate conversion, the rate calculation, there are a whole lot of mathematics involved. Okay. So if it is a mathematics involved, then what is the mathematics? Okay. What is the mathematics? You need to understand very well. Okay. That is what I'm trying to explain here. Now, there is another factor. Multiple years back, the dollar INR used to be a very stable currency. It hardly used to move more than 2, 3, 4, 5 paisa a day. Now, the movement intraday itself is nothing less than 30, 40 paisa. So if you are not aware about Forex, you are not able to take advantage of this volatility. Okay. So if you are aware about Forex, then you can look at capitalizing on this 30, 40 paisa intraday movement itself. Understand one thing, very important. Banks are our counterparties. Okay, so when you are selling dollar, they are buying dollar. And when you are buying dollar, they are selling dollar. So banks are your counterparties. And they also have business interests. So they want to maximize profit. So if they are trying to maximize their profit, the cost is coming to you. So you have to be very clear about your interest. I have to protect my interest. Bank is my counterparty who is protecting their interest. So if their interest is protected, then your interest is against it. If they are making money, then you are losing money. And banks, since they are smart, they have all the access to all the live data, all the live information, all the awareness. Okay, so obviously they try to maximize it. And if they are maximizing, I am incurring the cost. I, as an exporter or an importer, or you as an exporter or importer, is bearing the cost. And we need to ensure that the cost is the minimum. Now, when I explain the concept of cash pot, if you notice, the cash pot is subtracted. Okay, from the current spot, the cash pot is reduced. So it is a benefit to the importer and a cost to the exporter. Okay, it is a benefit to the importer and a cost to the exporter. So in India, all the exporters know cash pot because that is a cost to you. The bank tells you that this is the cash pot and it is reduced. If you're aware, if you're not aware, then you don't know the concept at all. But for the importers, a majority of the importers who are not aware, this benefit is not passed, which means the bank takes that benefit and does not pass the benefit to you. So if you are an importer and you understand the concept of cash pot, understand that is a benefit to you, and that benefit can accrue if you are aware about the concept, if you're aware about the mathematics. Okay, so that is as far as the rate goes. So this is the first point that I wanted to make to all. So what I will do is I have, even though muted all of you can unmute yourself, and if you have any questions at this point of time, please ask me before we move to the next topic. Anything on rates management, any queries that you have, you can ask me. So you can unmute yourself. Let me know if someone is putting on a chat and okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Victor ji, sorry, Ritesh ji.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. When you say that the bank cannot charge a variable and to charge a fixed cost, does that mean that even if I'm getting $1 million, the charge is going to be the same as what I get when I get $10,000? Or do you mean that the transaction fee, let's say 1 paisa per dollar, that is fixed?
Okay. Mr. Gautam, right? What's your name, sir? Gautam, right?
Yes, that's
okay. Yeah, Gautam, what happens is if your transaction size is so variable that it is sometimes 10,000 and it is 1 million, okay, the first thing to address your bank margin concept is first to make it fixed. It cannot be variable. So in fixed, I have two options. Either I keep it fixed for all volumes, okay, for any transaction size, I can keep it fixed, or you can keep fixed for what we call as a margin matrix. Now, what does a margin matrix mean? Margin matrix means that if it is less than, let's take $10,000 or $50,000, then the margins, let's take 3 paisa or 4 paisa. But if it is more than $1 lakh or $2.5 lakh, then the margin is 1 paisa or 1.5 paisa. So you can have a margin matrix. You can also have a fixed fee irrespective of the volume. That is something that you have to negotiate with your bank. Understand, Gautam, it is a charge to you. So you have to negotiate and you have to ensure that the charge is fixed and it is transparent.
Got it. Got it.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, great. Any more questions? Any more questions? Please go ahead and ask. Okay, great. So
one more quick question. I just want to know, does the type of services that your app provides, does it also show the transparency as to which bank is supposedly offering the best margin or the best fixed price, or do we have to do that due diligence ourselves?
See, Gautam, what you can do is, remember the rate does not depend on the bank. Okay, the market is just too massive. So it depends on the demand and supply. It depends on the millions and billions of participants that are there globally. Okay, so the rates that we provide on the application is very, very close to real time. The delay is hardly there for 2 to 3 seconds. And that delay happens because of the server. By the time the deal happens and it is coming, so it is very close to real time price. It is the actual market price. Okay, so it is the same for all banks. It is not that the rates are different for different banks. The rate is universally same. Depending upon the margin and the bank charges, the rate gets different for different companies. That is it.
Then why is it when I am booking my dollar, I have a way of booking my dollars, selling my dollar through a similar way where I'm always selling it on cash, right? And I'm bidding it in real time. But why is it that whatever Google is showing, the Forex rate that Google is showing or XE is showing is always different than what the SBI website is showing?
Okay, that is because first thing, XE does not show you interbank rate. Okay, XE shows an offshore rate. And remember, the interbank or real-time spot rates, there will always be two rates, the buy and sell price.
Yeah.
XE shows only one price.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
XE solves some problem, but the bigger problem remains. Okay, your rate will depend on the kind of transaction that you are doing. As I explained, if you're doing a cash transaction, then there will be a cash spot, then there will be a bank margin. Okay,
Right.
XE will just give you one rate.
Right.
So you never know
Okay.
what is the cash spot, what is the margin. Once you get the transparency of those variables as well, then you will be able to correlate and get down to the right number.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
So what should he do? If he should book on cash or he should book on spot? What do you suggest, Mr. Ritesh?
Okay. Sir, what's your name, sir?
I am Rajesh Arora, sir.
Acha, Rajesh ji. Rajesh ji, see, if you book on cash, the cash spot is subtracted and the rate, but the amount is credited today itself. Okay. But if you book spot, then the rate is booked, but the credit happens 2 working days later. Okay. So if it is credited 2 working days later, then the interest component for 2 days has to be taken into consideration. Okay. And if you do the mathematics well, cash spot is exactly that interest consideration. Okay, so if you do today, paying the cash spot, or you get the spot and get the credit after 2 working days, adjusting the interest loss, it is the same.
Got it. Got it.
Great. Okay, so I hope that answers. Anyway, we'll have a detailed question answers towards the end as well. Okay, so let's move on. Right. Now, as I was saying towards the beginning, I could have probably met close to 7,000, 8,000 companies in India in the last 21 years. And most of the exporters have told me something similar, what I have highlighted here. USD INR is always gaining. Dollar is always gaining. What does that mean? That means that 5 years back, 4 years back, the dollar was 68, 69. Now it is 75. Okay, so in the future, the dollar rate is always going higher. So if the dollar rate is going higher, why should I hedge? Why should I hedge? Because I know that by not hedging, I'm going to get a higher price in the future. Okay, so this is actually a very misguided belief and a conclusion. And I'm going to present in the next 2-3 slides actual facts and figures of the last 21-22 years. We did an extensive research and analysis since 2000, Jan 2000, about what the reality is. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, this is actual facts. This is actual historical data. It is not my view. Okay, this is not Ritesh Victor's view, or this is my Myforexeye view. This is not view. This is actual historical fact. We got our independence on 15th August 1947. That's a fact. That's not a view. It is just like that. What I'm going to present in the next 2-3 slides are all facts. If you want to do an independent evaluation of historical data, the result will be very similar. It cannot be different. Okay. So let me tell you what we did. What we did was, actually there's a small slide in between. When everyone says that dollar is always gaining and hence exporters should not hedge, we ask a couple of questions. Does rupee always weaken? On a long-term trend, yes, it is weakening, but does it always weaken? No, it does not weaken always. There is a lot of rupee appreciation as well in between. Okay, first question. Second question is, What about the forward premiums? Whenever an exporter is hedging, you receive forward premium. The rates are in the future. If I hedge now, the rates in the future are more than what the rates are there today. So there is a concept of forward premium. So I have to adjust the forward premium as well, right? So are we looking at the whole picture when we are misguided that dollar is always on the uptrend and we should not hedge? I will present you what we did. Very interesting and very important for each and every one of you to understand reality, the reality about Forex market in India, and not, I wouldn't say superstitions, but actual reality. Okay. So what did we do? What we did was, on every working day from the 1st of Jan 2000, okay, on every working day from 1st of Jan 2000, I did 3 forwards. Every day I did 3 forwards. Okay. What are the 3 forwards? I did a forward for 3 months. I did a forward for 6 months, and I did a forward for 12 months. Okay. So each day I am doing 3 forwards, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Every working day from the last 21 years. And what am I doing on the maturity? So after 3 months, the forward will mature. So I'll just compare on the maturity, what is the forward rate with the spot at maturity. Simple comparison between forward rate and spot at maturity. And since I am doing a forward every day, the maturity will be every day after 3 months. Okay, so it is a simple comparison that if I do a forward, I get the forward rate. And if I don't do a forward, I get the market rate at maturity. So it is a simple comparison. If I hedge using a forward, what do I get? And if I don't hedge and I don't do anything, then what do I get? I get the spot at maturity. Okay, so in one way, what are we doing? If you are doing a forward, you get forward premiums. You receive forward premiums, exporter receives forward premium, importer pays forward premium. So as an exporter, you receive forward premium. But if you don't do anything, you receive rupee depreciation. The natural depreciation of rupee you get. Okay, so we compare these two. 21 years, every day analysis, we compare what is the forward rate if we do it, and if we don't do anything, what is the spot at maturity. Let's see the results. The results are very interesting. You should certainly know it. Okay. So these are the results. 3 columns, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, since I did 3 forwards. Okay. The average and forward premiums that I receive. If I do a forward, I receive forward premium, an exporter. The average forward premium is anything between 4 to 4.5%. Last 21 years, annualized average forward premium. Okay. Average rupee weakening, which means the average weakening of rupee. As I said, 5 years back, it was 65. Now it is 75. So what is the movement of this weakening annually? So the average annual rupee weakening is around 2.7%. The forward premiums are 4 to 4.5%. The average weakening is 2.7%. Now, what does this mean? This means that if I regularly keep doing forwards, regularly and blindly, every day, without any rhyme or reason, I just do a forward because I am going to get my receivable in future. If I do a forward and that forward I compare with spot at maturity, there is a simple free gain. Listen to my words, ladies and gentlemen, free gain of 1.3 to 1.75% per annum. And this gain is adjusting the losses. It is not that it is only the average of the gains. It is gains and losses, all total average is coming as 1.3 to 1.75%. The percentage of successful trade. Successful trade means whenever the forward rate is more than the spot at maturity. So that's a successful trade. So successful trades, the percentage is 65%. Okay. So the conclusion is, if you do blindly forwards, you get anything between 1.25 to 1.75% for free on a long-term sustainable basis, long-term average. This is despite the fact that in 3 to 4 years, we have seen massive rupee weakening. I'm sure all of you remember the period of 2013 when it moved from 54 to 68. 2008 when it moved from 54 to 62. Okay. And also 2018 when it moved from 66, 67 to 72, 73. So despite such large weakening on a long-term basis, forwards have turned out to be more profitable. Okay. Now, whenever you do a forward, there are two ways of doing a forward. This is very important for all of you to understand that whenever I'm doing a forward, I can do a forward for a fixed date or I can do a forward for a window period. Okay. Now, the question is, should I do a fixed date forward or should I do a window forward? Now, the answer is very clear. If you do a fixed day forward, you get premium till that date. Okay, if I do a forward for 31st August, then I receive premium till 31st August. Okay, but if you do a window, let's take you do a 30-day window, you do from 1st till 30th of August, then you receive premium only till the 1st of August. So in the beginning itself, I am receiving less premium. Okay, so a window forward does not work well in current situation when the premiums are high. Okay, you should always do a fixed date forward. Now, for a fixed date forward, I'm sure a lot of you will have a challenge because you might tell me, Mr. Victor, I do not know when my receivables are going to come, but I know that is going to come in August, or I know it is going to come in May. I know the month, but I don't know the date. So if you know the month, hedge for the last working day of the month. Get maximum premium. And then if the receivable comes ahead of time, let's say it comes on the 15th or 18th of the month, you can just early utilize that forward. You can early utilize the forward, and whatever the differential premium of those 12, 13, 15 days are there, you can pay back. So nothing is going from your pocket. You're only returning back the extra premium that you have got. Okay, so the bottom line is you should never do a window forward. Window forward can be done. Window forward can be done when the forward premiums are very small. That even if I take a 15-day window or a 30-day window, I lose less premium. But now, in the current situation, in the last few years, we have seen forward premium remaining 4 to 6%, anything between 4% to 6% per annum. Okay, so that means effectively 25 paisa per month, 30 paisa per month. Which means if I do a 30-day window, I straight away lose 25 paisa. I straight away lose 30 paisa. So that is why when you do a forward, try and do a fixed date forward. Even though it gives you forward for one particular day, you can always early utilize that contract. There is always a facility of early utilizing the contract. But doing a window forward is a straightforward loss in the first day itself. Okay, so this is the second thing that I wanted to cover. So any questions till now, anything on this? Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to ask. Any questions, anything at all? I hope you can unmute and ask the question. Arvind, you're there, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, great. You're able to unmute yourself as well.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So anything, ladies and gentlemen, please ask or else I'll proceed to the next topic. Okay, great. So since no one is asking, yes, Rajesh, you want to ask something?
No, just I opened my screen because I was busy
Yeah,
somewhere
sure,
else.
sure. Okay.
No, that's really good, really good. Please keep going on.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, so the third topic that I want to talk for all exporters is how do I optimize interest cost on exports? Okay, so you have packing credit. I'm sure all of you as exporters, you understand what is packing credit. You can take a working capital facility from your bank for funding your exports. Okay, because as if you get an order now, you don't get the money now, but you have to make the product. You have to buy the raw material, you have to pay your labor, you have to run your machines, you have to run your factory, you have to incur multiple costs. So you need working capital to fulfill that export order. Okay, and that working capital is what we call as packing credit. Working capital for exporters is called packing credit. So there are various ways of taking packing credit. You can take either in foreign currency or you can take in INR. Okay. Now, since it is a loan, very clear, let's understand packing credit is a working capital facility. It is a loan. So my first objective is, since it's a loan, I need to keep the interest cost as low as possible. Okay. So how do I optimize my packing credit interest cost is what we are going to cover in the next 2-3 slides. Okay. Great. As I said, you can take packing credit in foreign currency. You can take packing credit in INR. Now, since it is a credit and a loan, there are multiple cost items. Okay, so what are the cost items? Here, I have explained with interest subvention. I'm sure all of you know that for exports, for MSMEs and non-MSMEs, eligible non-MSMEs, there was an interest subvention scheme by the government of India. Okay. Unfortunately, that stopped in 31st September 2021. Last year, 30th September, it stopped. But in this budget, they have already given the provision. So the packing credit subvention is going to come anytime soon. It has already been approved by the Finance Ministry. Now the Commerce Ministry has to just frame the regulations and come out with the guidelines and the regulations. Okay. So now subvention is not there. I will cover that in the next slide, but assume that if there is subvention, then what is the packing credit I should take? Okay, so as of now, assume the subvention is there. MSMEs was 5%, non-MSMEs is 3%. Eligible non-MSMEs, you get a subvention of 5% or 3% if you take packing credit in INR, not packing credit in foreign currency. Because if you take packing credit in foreign currency, it is a dollar funding or it is a euro funding. So the LIBOR, now LIBOR is not there. So there is what you call as SOFR, short-term funding rate. So short-term funding rate and spread is around 2%. Spread is around 2 to 2.5%. So PCFC cost is anything between 2.2 to 2.7%. Okay, PCFC cost is anything between 2.2 to 2.7%. Now, if I take in INR, if I take packing credit in INR, then it will be around 7-8% for MSMEs, slightly higher cost, and for non-MSMEs, it is 6-7%. But with subvention, MSMEs get a 5% subvention and non-MSMEs get a 3% subvention. So you used to get a subvention, and after subvention, it used to become 2-3% for MSMEs, okay, or 3-4% for non-MSMEs. But the real crux is the last part. See, understand, when you're taking packing credit in INR, you're taking in INR, but you're going to repay that INR using your foreign currency receivable, export receivable, after 3 months or 6 months or 150 days or 120 days. So for that future receivable and conversion, I can take a forward contract. And if you do a forward, you get 4.5% forward premium. So if I get 4.5% forward premium and I adjust it with my subvention scheme, my interest cost, ladies and gentlemen, is negative. My interest cost is negative. Hear me aloud, hear me clear. if you take a packing credit in INR, avail the benefit of subvention and do a simple forward contract, your interest cost is negative. Okay, it is explained in this slide. Operationally, how it should be done. Step 1, instead of dollar packing credit, instead of taking $1.5 lakh, $2 lakh, $3 lakh, take the equivalent INR. Let's take, I need 10 crore packing credit now. And my receivable will come after 90 days. So I take 10 crore packing credit. The current conversion rate is 75. So 1.3 million is what will be required to repay 10 crores. For this 1.3 billion, I can simply take a forward for 3 months. Because when I get my receivable after 3 months, I will have to convert that and then repay the PCI. Okay, so for that future conversion, you can take a forward contract and you can get the benefit of 4.5%. Use that conversion, convert that dollar using the forward, get the INR, and use that INR to repay your packing credit. So the mathematics, as I showed below in the previous slide, if you do this, your interest cost is negative. Okay, now I'm sure all of you must be asking, Mr. Victor, now there is no subvention. So there is no point in showing me this slide. Okay, tell me what happens if there is no subvention. I'll show that as well. Okay, now I have eliminated subvention. There is no subvention. Okay, so my PCFC cost remains the same, whether I take subvention or no subvention. It is SOFR plus spread, and the PCFC cost is around 2.2 to 2.7%. Okay, now what you need to evaluate is, first, what is your PCINR rate? I have written for MSME 7-8% and non-MSME 6-7%. Nowadays, PCINR cost for almost everyone is between 6 to 7%. For everyone, PCINR cost is 6 to 7%. So to that 6 to 7%, if I reduce the forward premium, I come to 1.5 to 2.5%, which is equivalent to or even better than my PCFC rate. Okay, so what we suggest to everyone is, all exporters is, whenever you are taking a packing credit, this is the general thumb rule. Okay, if interest subvention is available, then it is a simple no-brainer. Avail PCINR, packing credit in INR, take the forward, make it negative. Your interest cost is negative. But if subvention is not available, then you evaluate PCFC and PCINR. Understand what is the cost components of PCFC and understand what is the cost component of PCINR. If I'm getting a PCINR at 6.5% and my forward premium is 4.5%, so my PCINR cost is 2%. Okay, so is my PCFC cheaper than 2%? Then obviously I'll take PCFC. If PCFC is more than 2%, then I'll take PCINR. So the general thumb rule or the intelligence or the wisdom that I'm trying to give to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, is whenever you're taking a packing credit decision, evaluate the cost elements, the interest cost elements, and then decide. Understand it is a loan, as you all know. So for a loan, my whole and sole objective is I want to reduce the interest cost as much as possible. I will take which gives me the cheapest interest cost. Okay, so this is the third point that I had, third concept that I wanted to explain. Any one of you having any questions? I'm sure you will have a lot of questions. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. I would love to listen to your questions and give solutions to you. Please ask questions.
मैं ही कुछ पूछ लेता हूँ रितेश जी आपसे
जरूर सर।
जब ये अगर ये जो अभी आपने इसके बारे में बताया कि डू फॉरवर्डिंग करें और ये अवेल IPCI और INR अगर इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन है, इन दैट केस अगर कोई आदमी 30% 70% पे एडवांस करता है तो भी ये कर सकता है। एक सेकंड, क्या LC के ऊपर वो काम कर रहा है तो भी ये कर सकता है, और अगर वो रेगुलर क्रेडिट पे काम करता है 30 से 60 दिन पे तो भी ये कर सकता है। ये कंप्लीट क्वेश्चन है। इसके साथ ही क्वेश्चन इसके अंदर ये है कि किस तरह के डॉक्यूमेंट्स रिक्वायर्ड होते हैं 30-70 में या LC में, ये आपको ये सब करने के लिए।
सर आप ये किसी भी एक्सपोर्ट ऑर्डर में कर सकते हैं, किसी भी, जब भी आपको एक्सपोर्ट फंडिंग की जरूरत पड़े। ओके राजेश जी, आप जब भी एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हो आपको तो फंडिंग की जरूरत पड़ेगी, राइट? बिकॉज आपको अपना रॉ मटेरियल खरीदना है, आपके मशीन चलाने हैं, लेबर को देना, आपको फंडिंग, वर्किंग कैपिटल की जरूरत पड़ेगी एक्सपोर्ट के लिए। ओके आप द ओनली डॉक्यूमेंट दैट यू नीड इज द एक्सपोर्ट इनवॉइस कॉपी। एक्सपोर्ट इनवॉइस कॉपी के बेस पे आप अपना पैकिंग क्रेडिट का फंडिंग ले सकते हो, और वो एडवांस में होगा या बाद में आएगा। आपको सिंपल लॉजिक क्या है कि मैंने अगर 5 लाख की फंडिंग ली, 5 लाख इंटू INR मतलब एक्सचेंज रेट करके, लेट्स टेक 2 करोड़ या 3 करोड़ की फंडिंग ली, वो 2 करोड़ 3 करोड़ की ड्यू डेट आएगी, आपको उस ड्यू डेट के पहले अपने रिसीवेबल से कन्वर्ट करके उसको पे करना है। वो आप एडवांस से पे करो या डॉक्यूमेंट रिसीवेबल से पे करो, वो आपके हाथ में है।
गुड, थैंक यू।
यस सर।
Follow-up question to that: in case some things go south and that payment doesn't clear, and that tenure of repayment of your EPC, whatever this is, their EPC, that lapses, then what are the penalty clauses?
See, penalty clauses, I'll tell you, Gautam, penalty clauses क्या होगा कि see, I don't think that is going to happen regularly for you, right? आपके confirmed orders पे, when you are taking a packing credit, the only worry could be that it gets delayed, right? Yeah, you would have taken it for 120 days packing credit, you are probably getting it 140 days. That is the concept, right? So to solve the problem, what you can do is you can request the bank to give a PC for the maximum date possible. Okay, so you can ask your finance funder, you can ask your packing credit bank itself, because आपके invoice में, आपके trade cycle में, and since he is banking with you for so many years, he already knows your trade cycle. So you ask for a packing credit for the maximum period. Okay, and obviously your inflow schedule will not go beyond the maximum period. अगर in case चला भी जाए, then there is a penalty clause. There is a penalty clause, और वो clause आपके packing credit agreement में ही होगा. In your packing credit agreement itself, they will highlight that if you default on payment and it goes beyond your maturity due date, then what are the penal charges?
One last question. I have 10 shipments lined up for 10 different countries. Can I club them together, and let's say they're amounting to 2 crores. Can I club them together and take a EPC together all together? Yeah, individually.
You can do that. You can take it together. You can do it segregately. It all depends upon the bank will give you a fund depending upon a document, depending upon a bill of exchange or an invoice copy. Okay, so bank will fund you depending on that. Okay, so agar there are 10 different places going, then obviously typically it will be 10 different invoices, right?
Yeah.
So if it is 10 different invoices, then typically it will be in different packing credits.
Correct. Okay.
So there is no challenge, Gautam. For different packing credits also, you can take separate individual forward contracts, or you can club the forward contracts also, and you can do it.
Okay.
So operationally, this will not be a big challenge.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Mr. Victor, एक क्वेश्चन चैट बॉक्स में है, मैं पढ़
Yes, sir, sure.
के सुना देता हूँ. So the export invoice that we use to get the funding have to be in USD or NIR.
Sir, आपका export invoice तो foreign currency में ही होगा ना? आपका export invoice तो INR में नहीं होगा, isn't it? If you are an exporter and you have, let's say, since you are in sports goods, so let's take you an export order for $5 lakh to supply probably, let's take cricket bats or volleyball balls. So your invoice will be in foreign currency only, na? So the funding that I need to take, whether it is in INR or whether it is in dollar, that is in your hand. Okay, but the invoice copy will be in foreign currency. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, definitely. I believe जिनका भी question था मेरे दोस्त का वो उनका thanks भी आ गया है chat box में. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I hope that is cleared and clarified. Right.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please tell your name and ask a question.
My name is Tilak Hinder from Ratan Brothers Jalandhar.
Yes, sir. Bataiye,
So
Tilak.
it's a very interesting topic today. I'm working on behalf of my company for last so many years. But instant, I can't ask you any question, but we need later on. So we need to share your all the contacts and all sort of things. So we can contact you later.
Sure, sir. Sure. Towards the end of the presentation, my email ID, my mobile number, everything is given.
I think the better Mr. Tarun Devan will share to me. And I'm little bit very concerned. Everybody exporter is concerned in this forward contract or hedging and something like that.
Yes.
And better, I have no question in instant question, but later on we can contact you, please.
I will. Sir, what you can do is, if you can just write your name and number on the chat box.
Okay.
I will take it and I will tell my team to connect with you, and then probably whatever questions you have, we can solve it.
Sure. Thank you.
Mr. Ritesh, मैं एक request और भी करूंगा Mr. देवान से on the industry के behalf पे कि जैसे Mr. खिंदर ने कहा कि अभी कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है, तो ऐसे अगर हम सारे ही मेंबर्स को ये प्रेजेंटेशंस अगर शेयर कर लें तो आई बिलीव कि इंडस्ट्री के जितने भी हमारे मेंबर्स हैं, जो भी एक्सपोर्टर्स हैं, वो बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस इस चीज को देखकर निकलेंगे और हम आपका नंबर सभी से शेयर करें मिस्टर विक्टर, सो मैक्सिमम बेनिफिटेड हो हमारी इंडस्ट्री इस तरह के डॉक्यूमेंट्स और आई ओपनिंग फैक्ट से.
Sure, sir. I will ensure, Arvind, you have to ensure and coordinate with Diwan Saab and Arora ji, Rajesh ji. Just ensure that this PPT reaches all the members.
Yeah. I'll do the needful from my side. And also, in fact, I will collect information on the questionnaire from their side and share it with you.
Sure. Great. So all of you, ladies and gentlemen, Rajesh ji, Tilak ji, all of you will get this PPT.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, so let's get to the next topic. This I've covered. Okay, now I'm sure this is something which सभी लोगों को would need some guidance कि dollar कहाँ जा रहा है, because as I said in the beginning, wherever I go, whichever seminar I do, whichever interaction I do, whether it is take the number from Mr. Tilak group में आया, ठीक है? So whichever seminar or webinar I do, everyone asks me this question. Okay, everyone. कि विक्टर साहब डॉलर कहाँ जा रहा है? Gujral sir, I will talk to you about factoring solutions separately. Factoring is a very one Mr. Gujral sir has put. What about factoring finance solutions? I will, sir, certainly reach out. Please give me your full name and number. I will reach out to you for factoring solutions. Factoring solutions में sir बहुत legalities हैं और the concept is much wider and broader. Okay. It's very difficult to cover in short period. But what I'll do is, आपने पूछा है, it's very good. आप अपना नाम नंबर लिखिए. Someone from my team will certainly reach out to you. Okay, great. So as I said, 72 or 78. I'm sure आप लोग सबके पास अपना logic होगा कि वो 72 जा रहा है या 78 जा रहा है. All of you, I'm sure, are wise and educated and learned people. But I understand it is a market and understand it is future. Okay, so none of us know future. And I can assure you, even the RBI governor doesn't know where it is going. I can assure you, our honorable Prime Minister also does not know where it is going. So no one actually knows where the market is going. Because the market is ever dynamic. It is massive in nature. All of you, let me just tell you, in the last 5 to 7 years, the trades of dollar INR has gone up more than 3 times. Which means agar hum 100 billion karte hain per day abhi, it was only 30 billion about 5-6 years back. So what was 30 is now 100. So you can imagine कि इतने quick period में market कितना dramatically change हुआ. So making an estimate is easy, but the reality will be different. Reality could be same, reality could exactly be the same, reality could be very different. So understand it is an estimate. There are a whole lot of dynamics involved, but still, since we are in the market, हम लोग कुछ तो try करेंगे कि market किस direction में जा रही है और हमें क्या logic थोड़ा लगाना चाहिए. Okay, so here it goes. Whenever we do some kind of a future analysis, then we do two things. We analyze markets fundamentally. कि fundamentally market में क्या हो रहा है, fundamental का क्या indications है, and then you look at technicals. Technicals is historical analysis of the exchange rate prices, analysis of historical data. Technical is a very large, very wide and broad concept. But we'll try and do small bits कि technicals क्या indicate कर रहे हैं. But पहले fundamentals जानते हैं. Okay. So fundamentals में काफी लिखा है मैंने, 7 point लिखा, ये बहुत points होते हैं. But 3-4 points I would want to tell you a few things about fundamentals and how that will have an impact on the exchange rate in India. The first and foremost, on the top left, the US rate hikes. All of you are aware that since COVID stuck in March 20, a lot of central banks started pumping in a lot of money. They started issuing bonds and buying bonds and issuing money to support businesses and to support industries, to support individuals. Majority of the countries the support was to support businesses. But in US, the support was for individuals and businesses. Okay, so a lot of money has been printed by large central banks, and obviously the largest is the Central Bank of the US, what we call as the Federal Reserve. So they have printed a lot of money. और दुनिया में ये पैसा बहुत गया है. And one of the big reasons for how asset prices and stock markets have gone higher globally is this free money printing. Now what has happened is, in the last 3 months, the Fed, the US Fed, who has been printing $120 billion every month, has said that now economy has recovered, inflation has gone very high, so we have to stop printing. Which means by Jan, Feb and March this year, by March 22, the entire money printing, what we call as economic stimulus, will stop. So there is not going to be any more government support. The economy has to run on its own. So what was happening into countries like India was, because so much of money was printed, a lot of this money was flowing in some form or the other into emerging countries. अगर आप देखोगे कि FII data last 1-1.5 साल में कितना आया है, massive amount of data आया India में, massive amount of inflows आए. Now the worry is, this money printing is going to stop, this stimulus is going to stop, so all the free money which was coming will now stop. Now, since they have stopped, there is a lot of risk that a lot of money which has already come in might go back. Okay, if you see the one that I have pointed as foreign inflows, the FII inflows in Q1 till now, I'm only talking about till now, which is just January 22. We have already seen $4.2 to $4.5 billion of outflow. Okay, in the 3 months of 21, September, October, November, December, 3 months, we had seen $4.6 billion of outflow for 3 months. In this quarter, in 1 month itself, we have seen 4.2 billion of outflows. Okay, so inflows आना बंद होंगे, outflows बढ़ेंगे, dollar outflows बढ़ेंगे. So I'm sure all of you understand very well. अगर डॉलर सप्लाई पहले कम होगा और डॉलर डिमांड आउटफ्लो से बढ़ेगा तो करेंसी कहां जाएगी? डॉलर ऊपर ही जाएगी, नीचे तो जाएगी नहीं. Okay, so one very big argument. The second very big argument is on the bottom, left bottom, crude prices. I'm sure all of you are aware about the geopolitical tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Okay, now understand Russia, Ukraine, Middle East, lot of these countries are very big suppliers of crude. And since there is a friction, there is a war-like scenario there is a lot of worry that crude supplies might get disrupted. अगर crude supply कम हो जाएंगे तो crude prices बढ़ जाएंगे. Crude prices तो already बहुत बढ़ चुके हैं. I'm sure all of you are aware the Brent prices are in excess of 90. It is 88, 89, 90. And you understand that India as an economy buys how much of crude? Okay, almost 75 to 80% of our requirements are imported. So if crude prices go higher, then it will only be bigger demand or larger demand for dollar. Okay, so this is another reason for rupee weakening. Okay, now another factor is what our central bank does. Our central bank very actively plays in the market. And what we have seen is their strategy of keeping the rupee in a range. And we have seen 74, 75 is a range that they are comfortable with. 74 ke niche nahi jane deta, 75, 75, 50 ke upar nahi jane deta. So it looks that 74, 75 is something that they are comfortable with. Okay, but understand they are comfortable at this range in the current scenario. In the future, if the scenario changes, obviously the comfort level will also change. Okay, very big factor is also the elections that is going to happen in India in February and early March. UP is a very big state. UP जीता तो India जीता, UP गया तो India हारा. It is like that. So they are wanting to keep the currency under check, because if the currency is under check, then your domestic fuel prices are under check. If currency goes abroad, मतलब way beyond and goes out of control, आपको fuel prices, domestic fuel prices will go for a toss. और अगर पेट्रोल डीजल प्राइसेस ज्यादा हैं तो भाई आपको वोट तो नहीं मिलेंगे. So there is a political will and a non-economic fact that the exchange rate might be controlled for a while, but after February, March, that compelling factor or that reason will not be there. और बाकी के इंटरनेशनल क्रूड प्राइसेस की वजह से, फेड के स्टिमुलस कम होने की वजह से, आउटफ्लो होने की वजह से जो प्रेशर आएगा, so the RBI might be more tolerant to that. Okay, so analyzing fundamentals, I feel this year there is a very high probability of rupee going to 76 to 78. Very unlikely that it is going to 71, 72. If you ask me, I will put my bet कि डॉलर इस साल 76 to 78 जाएगा, 77 to 78 जाएगा, 71, 72 जाने के chances बहुत कम है. Okay, so this is on the fundamental part. This is the technical part. Technical part आपको मैं बहुत deeply नहीं समझाऊंगा, ये mostly आप लोग को it's a very different science, it's a very different study. But मैं आपको सिर्फ दो लाइन दिखाऊंगा, एक रेड लाइन देखना और एक ब्लू लाइन देखना. Okay, so if you see, the market has always been above this red line, and nowadays it is very close to the red line. The red line comes at 74 and the blue line comes at 74.08. Okay, how the blue line is derived up, that's a different concept, but understand this blue line is an important line because last 11 से 12 साल में ये ब्लू लाइन के नीचे सिर्फ 2-3 साल था. So historically, dollar INR has been below this blue line for a very short period of time. So technically भी ये लग रहा है कि भाई मार्केट नीचे तो जाता हुआ नहीं लग रहा है, फंडामेंटली भी ऊपर लग रहा है, टेक्निकली भी अब ऊपर लग रहा है. Okay, various reasons, सबके अलग अलग logic है. And again, ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, this is an estimate. Okay, this is a view. These might be historical facts and figures, but future का मैं आपको view बता रहा हूँ. I might be right, I might be wrong, because views keep changing, because market is supersonic, very dynamic. Okay, so again, before I come to the mobile application part, I would request any questions, please ask. I'm sure view में आप लोगों के पास काफी questions होंगे, तो आप लोग जरूर पूछो. Please ask any questions on the dollar INR view. Our view is it is going to 76, 77, 78. If someone feels no, it will go to 71, 72. Please ask and let's debate. Please ask.
I think जो आपने बोला ना लास्ट में I debate, I don't think मतलब इतने वाइड नॉलेज के बाद, वाइड एक्सपीरियंस के बाद हम आपसे डिबेट कर सकें, वो तो हम हार ही जाएंगे. लेकिन फिर भी मैं लोग सबसे ये कहूंगा कि कोई भी चीज आ रही है, कुछ भी ऐसा पॉइंट आ रहा है जिससे ना और लोगों की क्लैरिटी आए, आई रियली वांट यू आस्क एनीथिंग, नो इश्यूज, कम फॉरवर्ड. मेरे पास कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है रितेश जी अभी तो आपके लिए, लेकिन डेफिनेटली बाद में जरूर कनेक्ट करेंगे हम लोग आपसे.
श्योर सर, श्योर सर, श्योर. थैंक यू सो मच. अब सर मार्केट व्यू देना है तो थोड़ा डिटेल रिसर्च तो करना ही पड़ेगा. I can't come with half baked or half hearted effort. It has to be a good effort. Great. Thank you, Rajji. Any questions, please ask, or else we'll move on to the mobile application.
I just have a quick insight that I just wanted to get from you. I don't have an insight myself. I need to get an insight from you.
Sure.
So how people trade stocks? They also trade Forex, if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
There are Forex
absolutely.
markets also.
Yeah.
तो आपके ट्रेंड के हिसाब से तो $1 लाख खरीद लेते हैं और 6 महीने बाद बेच देते हैं, 2 लाख रुपए कमा लेंगे, ऐसा 4 लाख रुपए कमा लेंगे, करेक्ट?
आप कर सकते हो, but understand it's trade. It is not hedge.
Yeah, I know, of course.
It is trade. It is trade. If you ask me, then that could be a trade. Certainly, it could be a trade. पैसे बन सकते हैं, but फिर वो देखना है कि should I buy dollars at 74.80 or should I wait a bit and look at some 60, 70, 70, 80 पैसा lower. वो आप थोड़ा देख सकते हो.
Then it's a proper trade. Correct.
Yes. So if you want to trade, let's do it intelligently, smartly. Any more questions? Okay, ठीक है. So if people don't have questions, then I'll hand over to Akhtar. He will give you the demo of our mobile application. Okay. I'll have to give you the rights. Just a minute. I'll just take it and I will give Akhtar the rights to show this. Akhtar. मैं इसको म्यूट कर देता हूँ. You just hold on. मैं इसको म्यूट कर देता हूँ. अख्तर फारूकी मेक होस्ट. अख्तर फारूकी change host. I made you the host. So I will mute again, ladies and gentlemen. I'll mute myself. Akhtar will show our mobile application, and then I will come back. So any of you will have a question, you are most welcome to ask me.
Very good evening to everyone. I have opened Okay, so I hope that you guys can hear me properly. Just give me a quick moment. Right. Sir, are you able to see my screen? Is it visible? Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah,
You're
Akhtar, I
audible,
can hear
but
you,
your
but
screen-
I can see myself. You have to show the app.
you're
Okay, just wait a moment. Now is it visible?
yeah, it's visible now.
Okay, perfect. So guys, everyone, you can see this is the main interface of our application Myforexeye. You can see that there are certain currency pairs: USD INR, SGD INR, JPY, GBP, Euro INR. So, and you can also see that you can see two codes. One is bid and second is ask. So bid is basically for for export inwards, and ask for import payments. Like Ritesh sir just explained while the question of XZ rates, that they only show one rate. These are these two rates, buy and sell. So for export payments, you usually watch this bid rates, and it is a spot rate. So here, this is the spot rate. You can simply click over the rate 74.8920, and it will direct you to this next page, which is a calendar. Second step, that you can see under the USD flag. Here you can also select your preferred currencies. Under bank margin, let's suppose, as we have mentioned, that there should be a margin which is fixed with the bank. So let's say that it is 10 paisa for a moment, and you just submit, and this margin now it has been adjusted to all these rates. Now you can see this calendar, it's for complete 1 year. All these are forward rates. Let's go one by one. You can see that on 3rd of February, which means that it is for today, it is a cash rate. At the bottom, on the top, you can see USD INR, cash, term, spot, forward. At the bottom, you can see the pricing breakup. This is very important feature of this application. It actually gives you the advantage and the power that you can negotiate with the bank, because it gives you the whole components that you can discuss with the bank. Otherwise, bank will always try to play with the calculations. Here you can see that spot rate is 74.7869 in the real time. The cash spot, which Ritesh just explained, this is right now it's almost 4.5 paisa, and the margin is 10 paisa. So for export payment for spot, if you take a cash, you have to pay cash spot of 4.5 paisa to the bank if you want to get the conversion today. And you can see the fluctuation is happening. So it is also a good feature that while doing the conversation with the bank, if there is any positive fluctuation, then you can tell the bank to quote the rate again. So there won't be any slippage or pilferage. Now, as we say that here you can see transaction types. Tom is for tomorrow. Now the cash pot is, it gets lesser. It's 3/4 paisa. And we go for spot. Now you can see that the cash pot has been removed. So you will only be charged only your margin, which is 10 paisa. And you will get 74.792. And it will get converted on 7th of Feb. So this is one of the good feature of this app, which gives you the advantage and kind of insight that you can do the negotiation with the bank while doing the conversion. Again, if we go back to the page here, now you can see that all these forward rates, you try and find out that over the internet as well, Google or XE, you won't find all these forward rates. Let's suppose the best part is that you can watch all the rates up to 1 year and you can plan, or you can do hedge. Let's say that you have a payment after 2 months in March, at the last week of March, and you go, let's say 28th of March. Now at the bottom, you can see the whole pricing breaker. Spot rate in the real time is 74.8923. The premium you will get, it's 0.4134. And then the margin is 10 paisa, and the net rate should be 75.2055 in the real time. So this premium part, this component is very crucial while you do hedge, because bank used to overcharge a lot while you cover a forward rate with them, because they know that you don't have any idea about the premium. And if they will charge, let's say 10 paisa extra, and they give you only 30 paisa premium, most of the time the client is happy, because your psychology says that you are getting premium, at least 30 paisa. So here you save a lot of cost while do hedging. So this is one of the great feature that forward calendar is not available right now. In our knowledge, we haven't found this kind of feature. Now the best part is that also let us be attentive to the forex market all the time, and you check that okay, I'm having a payment in March, and I'm going to book a forward for 28th of Feb. Right now, I can see that I'm getting a final rate of 75.2054. But let's say that you have any idea about the market, you have any insight, or maybe you have some information, or you have a market outlook, and you feel that, okay, it seems that we can get 10 or 20 or 30 paisa more. Market dollar will appreciate more. So you don't need to watch the market all the time. You can simply see that in the at this middle section, there is a option, it's called forward price. Here, let's say that the final rate right now, you can see 75.2055. You can simply go and say, I want to be notified when the market will reach to 75.30. So I simply put this alert. I want an email notification and SMS notification both, and I create. Now this alert has been set. As the market will reach to 75.30, the forward rate for this date of 28th of March, you will receive the notification, email notification and SMS notification. You will come to know that, okay, the dollar has been reached to that price. Now you can book the rate for your 28th of March transaction. Apart from this, I will go back to the page, and I'll show another example, another feature of this app, which is quite useful. You can see that the third option, it is a compare option. In compare, what you can actually do, that you can simply audit all your previous transactions. You can find out that what the rate had been offered to you by the bank on previous transaction. So you will find out that, okay, if you got a better rate, or the difference was too much, or maybe you got a fine rate. So you see that here, you see that this is a historical. You select your currencies. Let's say that you had a payment of $10,000 or $1 lakh. It was an export payment, and mostly how well the exporters, they used to book spot in, let's say that you had a cash rate. The transaction date was 18th of January. The rate offered by the bank was, let's say, 73.80. If you know the exact time, which I'm sure that bank never tells you, then if you have it, it's fine. You can put exact time. If you just have the idea that yes, we had a conversation with the bank during a specific time period, let's say 2 to 3 p.m. So definitely bank took a rate during that period. You can select a time window, and if you have no idea, you can simply select full day and you submit, and it will give you this report with all the vectors, high, low, and average during the day. So here you can see that the cash rate that day, it was, the highest was 74.5775. The lowest was 74.3375. So this is the range for that day. And the average is 74.4575, which we have taken for an average calculation. And the rate offered by the bank was 73.80. So you can here compare with all these vectors. Let's say that if you compare that with the high rate, you have lost 77 paisa, more than 77 paisa. With the low, 53.75 is the difference. And with average, it is 0.6575. On 1 lakh US dollar, the total loss is, you can see here, with high, with low, with average. With average is 65,750. If you go further for this calculation, you select average. Let's say you have a turnover of 10 CR. You can simply put here, and it will give you this estimated loss for your whole turnover during the year. So with the 10 crore of turnover, export turnover, you can see the difference is almost like 10,38,000. And you can, similarly, you can increase the turnover as per your Forex exposure, and it can give you an estimated loss that if this is the average loss on every transaction of 65 paisa, then total loss would be this much. This is just a calculator that gives you the idea that what cost you are actually paying to the bank just for Forex conversions. So these two options are specifically meant for the people, the exporters or importers. Apart from this, I'll go and let's say that if you people are quite interested, having interest in, reading about the market, we have one section, it is called a research part. Here you get all the reports. On daily basis, you get 3 reports, morning, afternoon, and evening. On weekly basis, you get this premium research report. This will give you the whole idea about the week, that what was the outlook, or a certain idea that what could be the coming week. Then the very good thing I would say that case studies are very popular for to our clients, because these are the case studies that we deal with the clients, we service them, and we found a lot of situations where they are losing money. So we provided them these solutions, and we help them in saving a very good cost. So all these case studies, I request that you should go one by one, because you will find out in this situation, you will relate to these situations, because you are also an exporter and all the exporters, they have similar situations while doing Forex conversions. Then there is trading, daily trading calls for people who do Forex trading. We provide the trading calls as well. A weekly report is there, blog is there, economic calendar is there. So this is the main part for the research section. Anything else? Any question you people have right now? You want to ask about this app or about any feature?
Yes, Mr. Akhtar, I really want to know, क्योंकि ये ऐप की प्रेजेंटेशन हमें अब 10-11 लोगों को, हम लोग 16 से 20 भी हो गए थे बीच में. Do you have any video on YouTube जिसके अंदर इस एप्लीकेशन को और डिटेल में, मतलब प्रोसेस में बताया गया हो, जिससे कोई भी मेंबर जो इस प्रेजेंटेशंस में नहीं है वो इसका फायदा उठा सके?
Yes, I believe that we have YouTube videos where all the features and the information about this app has been demonstrated. तो हम लोग वो videos आपके साथ सर share कर लेंगे. Apart from that, I would request that we are always available to the members of your association. अगर वो चाहेंगे, then we can also arrange a specific application demo for them, जहाँ पे हम लोग उनको आराम से 15-20 मिनट देते हैं और उनसे पूरा एप्लीकेशन हम we ask them to use. तो वो लोग एक बार में मतलब समझ जाते हैं. It would be very good experience for them.
That will be great. That will be great. Thank you very much, Mr. Akhtar. Thank you very much.
Rajesh ji, another thing is in the presentation that Akhtar, then I think you can stop sharing. I will share my PPT for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I will just share my screen for a minute. So you have to disable yourself, Akhtar. Okay, what I was saying is, Rajesh ji, in the PPT that we will share with you, there is a full 7-8 slide PDF. Okay, slide by slide PDF is given. We'll give you the link to the YouTube video as well. But वो presentation में slide by slide आपको समझाया गया है कि what are the features and what features gives you what data and how can you use it for your benefit. Okay, so in addition to that, I will just show a slide which gives the email IDs and the mobile numbers of mine. That is there also there on the PPT itself. Okay.
Great.
So if anyone wants, should I write it on the chat box? I think I should write it on the chat box, right? सर मैंने अपना नेम, मोबाइल नंबर और ईमेल आईडी डाल दिया है चैट बॉक्स में, and it is also there on the presentation as well. So anyone wants to reach out, they are most welcome to reach out. We're always there to help you, and you can certainly download the application and check it out. It is free. It is very close to real-time prices, and it is contradictory to what I said that real-time prices come at a cost. The technology has developed so much that now we have to ensure that even such prices are free.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor. I really want a great awakening figures तरीके. मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा ना, डे टू डे लाइफ में जब बिजनेस में हम लोग अपनी फैक्ट्रीज में और चीजों में काम कर रहे होते हैं, इस एरिया पे ध्यान तो देते हैं लेकिन उतना नहीं जितना एक एक्सपर्ट आप जैसा हमें जगा कर और हमें इस तरफ लगा दे. मैं भी एक्सपोर्ट में हूँ और लोग भी यहाँ जितने भी हैं एक्सपोर्ट्स में हैं और इंडस्ट्री में अंदर, जो आपने चीजें बताई कि ये वाला एक्शन ऐसे लेना चाहिए या मैं हेजिंग के लिए या पैकिंग क्रेडिट के लिए कि आपको नेगेटिव कॉस्ट आता है, मतलब दैट्स रियली गुड एंड रियली थैंक यू फ्रॉम माय कोर ऑफ हार्ट एंड फ्रॉम माय इंडस्ट्री, मतलब हमारी काउंसिल की तरफ से. आई रियली वांट्स टू मिस्टर Ritesh and Mr. Arvind as well. Thank you, Akhtar as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I
Thank you,
believe,
Rajesh ji. Thank you.
I believe ये सबके लिए benefit हुआ होगा. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for participation.
Thank you, Rajesh
Thank
ji.
you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, Rajesh.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You all, every one of you, have a good evening. Great. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Take care. Have fun.
Bye.